damn it. Jack knew that. After 15 years of separation, Kate had come back into his life for 1 week, during which he'd gotten to know her again, love her again, and now she was gone, forever. The facts said it wasn't Jack's fault, but the facts didn't keep Jack from blaming himself, and one other person. He'd searched for the man he'd suspected of being in some way responsible, a man whose real name he didn't know, but who'd called himself Sal Roma once, and maybe Ms. Aurelio, too. He'd put the word out, but no one knew anything, never heard of him. Jack wound up with a taste of his own medicine. Sal Roma didn't seem to exist. Kate. She might still be alive if only he'd done things his way instead of listening to... Stop. No point in traveling that well-worn trail again. He hadn't returned his father's calls. After a while, they stopped. He forced a smile for Gia. Sorry, pseudo-weirdos crank me off. Can't be much weirder than the people you spend most of your day with. Those are different. They're real. Their weirdness comes from inside. They wake up weird. They dress weird because they reach out a hand and whatever it touches first is what they wear that day. These people here spend hours in front of a mirror making themselves look weird. My weirdos have hair that spikes out in 20 directions because that's the way it was when they rolled out of bed this morning. These folks use herbal shampoo, half a gallon of gel, and a special comb to achieve their unwashed bedhead look. My weirdos don't belong. These people seem to want desperately to belong, but don't want anyone to know, so they try to outdo each other to look like outsiders. Gia's lips twisted. And the biggest outsider of them all is sitting right here in a short-sleeved plaid shirt, jeans, and work boots. And spending the evening watching pretensions collide with affectations, present company excluded, of course. One of the many things he loved about Gia was her lack of affectation. Her hair was blonde by nature and short for convenience. Tonight she was wearing beige slacks and a sleeveless turquoise top that heightened the blue of her eyes. Her makeup consisted of a touch of lipstick. She didn't need anything more. She looked clean and healthy, a very untrendy look in this subculture. But the subculture had percolated into the overculture. The fringe had become mainstreamed. Years ago, construction workers threw bricks at long hairs and called them faggots. Now the building trades were packed with ponytails and earrings. Maybe it's time I got myself adorned, Jack said. Gia's eyebrows shot up. You mean pierced? You? Well, yeah. Sometimes I feel like I stand out because I'm not bejeweled and be-inked. Be-inked? You know, tattooed. Everyone seemed into it, and if he wanted to remain invisible, he'd have to follow the crowd. But nothing permanent, he added. Didn't want to lose his chameleon capabilities. Maybe a clip-on earring and 1 or 2 of those temporary tattoos. Didn't you do something like that to your fingers once? You remember those? Phony prison tats, with indelible ink, a one-time thing for a hairy job that left a couple of toughs from a Brighton Beach gang blazing mad and combing the 5 boroughs for a guy with hell-bent tats on his knuckles. He hadn't been able to wash those off soon enough. No, I think I need something big and colorful. How about a heart encircled with rose vines and Gia in its center? I was thinking more on the order of a green skull with orange flames roaring out of its eye sockets. Oh, how cool, Gia said, and sipped her wine. Yeah, slap that one on one deltoid, maybe get a bright red hot stuffed devil for the other, put on a tank top, and I'll be set. Don't forget the earring. Right, one of those dangly ones, maybe with the Metallica logo. That's you, Jack, a speed metal dude. Jack sighed. Adorned, accessorized. I was brought up thinking that real men didn't bother with fashion. So was I, Gia said, but I have an excuse. I grew up in semi-rural Iowa. You're a Northeasterner. True, but all the adult males I knew as a kid, my father and the men he knew, were plain dressers. Most had fought in Korea. They dressed up for things like weddings and funerals, but mostly they wore functional clothes. Nobody accessorized. You stayed in front of the mirror long enough to shave and comb the hair out of your